Alright guys, let's look at how exactly to deal with Snap. Okay, now Snap is a paper which will have four areas: Quant, LR, which is very important in Snap, Verbal, and finally we'll have GK. The GK is kind of a section where you can attempt around, you can set your target as 5 to 10 marks and get sorted with it, and it'll have very basic questions. Usually they have some 40% of static current affairs, and you'll have 60% of the remaining general knowledge, general awareness kind of questions. Alright, we'll talk about GK in a while, but let's look at Quant, LR, and Verbal. What exactly you have in these areas? Quant, you'll have 40 questions and they'll be for 40 marks, so you'll have 1 mark per question. LR, you'll have 30 questions, 60 marks though, so you can see LR is quite important when it comes to marks per question, 2 mark per question. And Verbal, you'll have 40 questions and again 40 marks, which is again 1 mark per question. Alright, now looking at the previous year's paper, which I'll go to in a while, 2014, the ideal or the good attempts here would be 2021, which is very basic. Okay, so I'd suggest in Quant try to attempt 60% of the questions, which is around 24 questions. In LR again the good attempt was 20, which is 2/3 of the questions, so around try to attempt 70%, which is 21 22 questions in LR. Trust me, LR is quite doable. Even if it's 2 mark per question, it looks like might be difficult, but it's very straightforward. When I talk about verbal is going to be the easiest section. So the good score last year would have been 2022, which is around again 60% of the questions. So this is how your attempt should be like. And GK, as I mentioned, 5 to 10 questions is good enough, and that will help you clear the cutoff. Last year the cutoff for SIBM Pune was somewhere around 98 plus marks. Alright, so we can tackle it this way. We can attempt 60% in Quant, we can attempt 70 in LR and 60 in Verbal, and GK we can attempt 5 to 10 questions and get sorted with. Okay, so now let's look at how do you allocate time to this. Now when you talk about attempting, the most important thing is how do you allocate time. LR, Quant, Verbal. Now LR is the most important area, so I'd suggest keep around 40 to 45 minutes purely for this area, because you'll have 2 marks per question here. Now, all of you might have one strong and 1 weak out of Quant and VA. If you have both strong, nothing like it. Okay. In that case, what you're gonna do is whatever your strong area. Let's say you talk about Quant. Quant is a strong area. What you must do is you must give a little more time to Quant, because in that case your target score will not be around 20 to 22, because Quant is your strong area. Your target score will become 24 to 26 marks. Alright. Same goes with Verbal. Verbal, you can, if your strong area is Verbal, then you can give 40 minutes to Verbal. So you have 40 here, 40 here, and you can keep somewhere around 30 in that case. So strong area will be 40 minutes, LR will be around 40 to 45 minutes, and your other area will be around 30 minutes, and the remaining time 5 to 10 minutes you can give to GK. GK technically doesn't need a lot of time. I'd suggest 5 to 10 minutes is more than enough for the GK, because either you know the answer, you don't. Alright, so in that case you can again increase your attempts to around 24 to 26, or maybe try to get a 28 or here, and it'll help you a lot. Now let's dig into previous year's Snap paper so that you understand what kind of level of difficulty the question is all about. So if we dig into the previous year question paper, this is one of the papers available on the internet. Now it starts with first Quant and DI. Now if I suggest Quant and DI, your major focus in Quant and DI will be on the arithmetic chapters, as I mentioned earlier as well, your geometry basics, and a little bit of probab and PNC. Nothing more than that, and numbers will be very basic. Numbers will be asked just for the heck of asking. Alright, let's have a look at this. So first question, how many different arrangements and extras so that vowels are together? Simple as that. When vowels are together, you use something called a string method. You tie the vowels together. Now we have 1 2 3 and 4 elements that can be arranged in 4 fact ways, but A and D can be arranged in 2 fact ways. No repetition, so no division required. So the answer is 2 fact into 4 fact, 48. I'm going to show you exactly how do we select those 20 questions. Now second question, in radius is given, asked for, it's a right angle triangle, so very simple. It's a 6 8, so this will be 10 6 8 10 right angle. In radius is always the addition of two sides, subtracting the hypotenuse, dividing by 2, that is 14, minus 10 by 2, that is nothing but 2. Alright, now tan theta plus sine theta is m. If you're not good at trigonometry, if you don't know the basics, leave it, not a big deal at all. Okay, we can still select 20 questions and get sorted. All right. Now see how quickly we are doing this. Like, this hardly took us like around 20 seconds. This hardly took us around 20 seconds. So that way we can save a lot of time in these kind of questions. So always keep in mind, in the first round of attempt in quant, you will kind of select these questions first. Okay. Don't just blindly go 1, 2, 3, and don't just go chronologically. Okay. Try to find questions that will save a lot of time. So for example, the fourth one is again an easy one, it seems. If A and B are mutually exclusive and exhaustive events. Now what is mutually exclusive and exhaustive? Mutually exclusive means they don't have any intersection, and exhaustive means they finish the entire set, which means day and night. Now day and night, when there's day there cannot be night, when there's night there cannot be a day, but the whole 24 hours is either a day or a night. So it just means day and night are mutually exclusive and exhaustive, which means they don't have intersections, but they finish off the entire set sample. Okay. So now it's given, which means A and B. So addition of A and B will be 1 because sample is 1. Sample's probability is 1. And they've said that P of B is 3 times P of A. Now if P of B is 3 times P of A, so if P of A is X, P of B is 3X, and they both make 1, so X is going to be 1 by 4. So P of A is 1 by 4. And what they've asked for is, what is the value of P of B complement? Now P of B complement means when B doesn't occur. So when B doesn't occur, A occurs. So the answer is precisely 1 by 4. Right. Now partnership, I won't look at this in the first round obviously because it's a little longer one. Sixth one, again I won't look at it in the first round because it's the increase and decrease. I'll try to solve all those questions that will give me an answer at the tip of my tongue in the first round. The smallest number that should be added to this, so that completely divisible by 6. So I'll try to divide this by 6 and find the remainder. So if I divide by 6, I have 6 sevens 42, 25, 6 fours 24, 1 16, and 6 twos is 12. So the remainder is 4. So if I add 2 to this, it'll give me a multiple of 6. So see, numbers, they're going to ask you this simple question. So by far we've attempted 4 questions, and we just got to attempt 20, which is 16 more, which is very easy. Let's see how this works. Now again, two tangents inclined at 60 degrees, which means this is 30 degrees, this is 90 degrees, and this is going to be 60 degrees. So it's a straightforward 30, 60, 90 triangle, and you can definitely go for it. Side opposite 30 is half the hypotenuse, so it's going to be 6. Side opposite to 60 is root 3 by 2 times the hypotenuse, so root 3 by 2 of 6 is going to be 3 root 3, and that's the answer, 3 root 3. Okay. Now value of logs. Now logs, very basic thing. If you notice carefully, 3 square is the base here and 3 raised to 4 is the number here. 5 square is the base here, 5 raised to 4 is the number here. So it's basically the bases are being exchanged. So I'll put the 3 square here and make the problem like this. So it'll be log of 5 square 5 power 4 in log of 3 square 3 power 4. So it's going to give me a 2, this is going to give me a 2, and 2 and 2 is 4. Simple as that. So again, one more question done. Find the value of 1%, 1%, 25% of 1000. So percent cancels 0, 2 zeros. So I'm left with 250, and 1% of 250 is 2.5. Again, 1% of that is 0.025, and that's the answer. C is the midpoint of PQ. Now notice carefully, a very basic question. You have to select the right ones. That's it. C is the midpoint of PQ if P is 4, comma X. Now what is midpoint basically? Midpoint is basically something that divides things in equal parts. So if P and Q are here, like this, P, Q, C is going to be exactly in the center, which means the coordinates of C is going to be the average of coordinates of P and Q. So let's go back to that question. If P is 4, comma X, C is Y, comma minus 1, and Q is minus 2, comma 4. So very simple. 4 and minus 2. These are the X coordinates of P and Q. So it is 4 here and minus 2 here. So C will have X coordinate as the average of this two. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 by 2 is 1. So C's X coordinate is going to be 1. And talk about Y coordinate. Now C's Y coordinate is given to you minus 1, and X and 4. So basically this is X, this is 4, and this is given to you as minus 1. So we'll have X plus 4 by 2 is minus 1. So in that case we have X is equal to minus 6, and that will be the answer. So it is minus 6 and 1. Alright. Take your time to mark. Okay, don't be in a hurry because it's a paper. You gotta like be very accurate in answering. So again, 12th question. I may solve it, I may not want to. Let's see. Okay, so odds in favor, easy question. If you know odds in favor, which means you will win in favor. It's in favor of you. 1:3 means you win 1 and you lose 3 times. So basically you're winning 1 out of 4 times. Stuff like that. Right. So 13th, I won't touch it right now. Property dealer. 14th one is an easy. Look at it. It's a lot of arithmetic here. If you notice, a property dealer sells house for 6,30,000 and gains profit of 5%. So if I say profit of 5% is basically 105 is 6,30,000. I write 630 ignoring zeros. I always keep telling this in my videos. Always try to ignore zeros so that your problem gets reduced. Right. And you're saying that if he sold it for 5 lakh, then what is the percentage loss he would have made or profit would have made? So 5 lakhs, again ignoring zeros, 500 is how much? If you notice, this is into 3, this is into 6 times. Yeah, so basically it will be 105 into 500 divided by 630. Yeah, simple as that. So I'll have zeros cancelled here, and this is nothing but, this is like 6 times, this is 6 times, so I won't cancel zeros, I'll keep it 6. So it's going to be 250 by 3. 250 by 3 is nothing but 83 1 by 3. Alright, so 83 1 by 3 is basically 16 2 by 3 of a loss. Yeah, because 105 means 5% profit, and 83 1 by 3 means 16%, 16 2 by 3% loss. Alright, again typical average question. Average of 11 is given to you, first 6 given, last 6 given, find the middle. You multiply this by 6, you multiply this by 6 because it'll give you a total of first 6 and last 6, and subtract all the numbers, because in first 6 and last 6 the middle number is counted twice. Alright, 16th, again a simple one. 25 days and 20 days, they work for 5 days and A goes away. So one of them is 25 days, another is 20 days, and the LCM is 100. So this is going to be 4 and this is going to be 5, and they work together. Together they can do 9. They work together for 5 days. Just a second here. They work together for 5 days, so it's going to be 45 units done. Left with 55 units, and B is to be doing this work. B does 5 a day, which means B can finish that work in 11 days more. So the answer in that case will be 11 days. Yeah, simple as that. I mean, look at it. I mean, we're actually like solving it very quickly because of the reason that we're selecting the right question, you know. So now have a look at the 17th one. At the simple interest, 800 becomes 956 in 3 years. And if simple interest is increased by 3%, how much would 800 become? Now, very wonderful question, a very basic question again. So 800 becomes 936 in 3 years at some R% rate. Now this is increased by 3%, so it is R plus 3% as a rate. How much will it become? Now don't calculate R and stuff, it's a waste of time. Basically we've increased 3%, right? So it will be 3% of 800, which is nothing but, you'll always have an increase of 24 rupees. Okay, but 24 will increase 3 times, so it's going to be 936 of, and you'll have 72 added to it, so it's going to be 1008. Alright, I'm so sorry. It becomes 956 and 930, not 936. So it's going to be 956 and 72. So it's going to be 1028, which is C. Okay, so what did I do here again is, like, instead of finding R for 3 years and then adding 3 more to it, it's basically simple. Simple interest is all about rate of interest applied on the principal. So now the rate of interest is not R anymore, it is R plus 3. So which means 24 rupees are going to be added every year. And this is done for 3 times because it's 3 years. So it's going to be 72. Alright, monthly salaries. Okay, 20th monthly salaries of A and B is 40. So A and B together is one of the type of questions of percentages. A and B together, 40,000 rupees is what they earn. A spends 85, B spends 95%. It is saving the same. Okay, very very nice. So A is spending 85%, which means A is saving 15%. 15% of A. And B is spending 95, so B is saving 5%. 15% of A is 5% of B. And off percent cancel, you have A over B is 1 by 3. So this is gonna be the salary ratio, and total salary is 40,000 rupees. 40,000 is divided into 4 parts, per part 10,000, and 3 parts 30,000. Whatever you need. We needed what? We needed A's salary. Yeah. So the answer is 10,000 rupees. Simple as that. I mean, not a big deal at all. Okay. So if you notice, by selecting the right question, you can actually attempt a lot of them. Like for example, here 1, 2, 3 and we have attended 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 and 11 by far. Okay, we just are 9 away from the entire thing. Let's see if we don't have to like literally take efforts to solve those 9 questions. Difference of two numbers is 1, 3, 6, 5. Dividing the larger by smaller, we get 6 as quotient, 15 as remainder. So let's say the smaller is x, the larger will be, because we get 6 as a quotient and 15 as a remainder, and the difference between these two, okay, is given to you as 1365. So basically we have 5x is 1350, and x in that case will be 270, and that will be the answer, 270. Smaller number 270. If you want to find the larger, you could just multiply that by this by 6 and add 15 to it. Alright, let's look at the next one. 20 22nd, we leave 22nd for a while. 23rd, we'll leave it for a while again. 24th, 25th, like look at that. With the following function is odd. Now keep in mind, always bear in mind, a constant raised to something can never be odd, because whenever even the function is reversed, it will become the reciprocal and it won't give a negative. Odd function means the function is reversed. For example, x cube is an odd function, okay, because when I say 2 cube I get 8, but when I say minus 2 cube I get minus 8. So the number is reversed, the answer also gets reversed, okay. However, in this case, constant raised to x, if the number is reversed or the number is negated, the answer gets reciprocated. So the point is they cannot be odd function, okay. Right, so moving ahead, 28th question, 29th question, let's look at that. Last two in multiplication. Now we have a 25 here and a 22 here, so it'll definitely end in 50. It's that simple, because the remaining are odd, they won't affect the 5, because 5 into odd is going to be 5 again. If the numerator is increased by 200, denominator increased by 200. Now this is like stupid. It's like if I have a 2 by 4, which is 1 by 2, if I double this and double this 2, I still remain 2. I still get 2 by 4, which means if numerator is increased and denominator increased by the same percentage, the value won't change. The resultant is this, so the original has to be this, which is nothing but 14 by 5. None of these. Yeah, there's again a quick calculation based question. I mean, very simple, you can solve that easily. Right, so moving ahead. So let's look at 34th question. A bag contains 100 tickets, 1 to 100. If ticket is drawn on a random probability, that digit 2 appears in it. Now you've done this with me, that whenever we have to, we have 10 digits and we have 100 numbers. If I remove one of the digits, I'll be left with 81 numbers, because your base reduces by 1. Alright, so basically we have 81 numbers, which means nothing but, there are 19 numbers where one particular digit comes all the time. Okay, so for example, there are 19 numbers where 2's will come, there are 19 numbers where 3's will come, etc. Okay. However, if they ask you how many times 2 comes, it will be 20, because in 22 or in a 33 they appear twice. So how many times a digit comes is 20, but how many numbers have the digit is 19. So the question again, probability that it had a digit 2 appearing on it, 2 appearing will be obviously 19 on 100. Okay, simple as that. Let's look at 35th, the very basic ratio, time speed distance question. A train passes a station in 36 seconds, a man in 20 seconds. So basically, platform is 36 and man is 20, which means if it were, because see, when it crosses a man, it crosses itself. When it crosses a platform, it crosses itself and the platform, which means for the man, for itself, it took 20 seconds. So for itself, it takes 20 seconds. For itself and the platform, it takes 36. So only for the platform, if train were just a particle, it would have taken 16 seconds just to cross the platform. So it crosses the platform in 16 seconds, and the platform length, speed is given to you 54 kilometers per hour is basically 54 into 5 by 18, which is nothing but 15 meters per second. So I have the speed, I have the time, I can multiply this and find my distance. So the platform length is going to be 240. Alright, so we have a DI set to number of employees, typical DI set, number of employees in various departments and the ratio of men and women in that department. Alright, let's see how do you deal with this. Again, it's not a calculation based DI, you have to use numbers minimally as possible. Okay, have a look at this. What are the number of women in the account? So we'll not just randomly start finding total in accounts and then women accounts. Carefully look at it. Accounts men and women ratio 3:1. Accounts percentage is 8. If I divide 8 in 3:1, per part is 2. So basically there are just 2% of women in accounts. 2% of the total 4600 is gonna give you 46 into 2, that is 92. Okay. Next, look at what is the total number. Now I try to avoid these kind of questions at the start. I can do that later because it's a little calculation. Again, 38th I'll avoid. 39th, let's say, number of women in merchandise form what percent of total number. Now same as the first question. Now merchandising, now if you look at merchandising, it's 18%. 18% is total. However, men women in the ratio 5:1. So you divide 18 in the ratio 5:1. 6 parts, so per part 3. So the answer is 3%. Alright, so men in production, men in marketing. Now production is 15%, men however is 1:1, that is 7.5, and marketing is 22%. production is 15% and men is 3:2, which is nothing but 15 has to be divided into 5 parts, so per part comes as 3, so this will be 9. So production has 9% males and marketing has 11% males because it's going to be 1:1, so the answer is 9:11, and that solves your case. So I rest my case here because I think we've done 20 questions in the first round itself, and the remaining time you can allocate in solving the rest of the questions. Alright, let's look at the Alright, the next section is logical reasoning. Now in logical reasoning, bear in mind that the questions you'll have will be precisely on miscellaneous logic. You'll have verbal reasoning in it, and obviously the favorite of all exams, caselets. Right, let's look at it. Let's dig into it one by one. Now again, the attempt must be like you first solve the miscellaneous, then go for verbal, and finally look at the caselets. It depends on the weight, however. It depends on the number of questions you have in per area, but I'm sure you'll have a lot of miscellaneous questions in Snap. For example, 41st question. Now driven is this positional rearrangement. Accordingly we can solve. Something like shout, whisper. It's like a high intensity, low intensity. Run is going to be walk. Syllogisms again. You can make Venn diagrams and go for it. Now 44th again. A fires 5 shot to B's 3. A kills once in 3. B kills once in 2. B has 27 misses. A has killed how many birds? Now simple as that. Now when A fires 5, B fires 3. And B is basically missing 1 out of 2 because B kills once in 2, which is missing 1 out of 2, which means when B missed 27 times, B has made 54 shots. So if B has made 54 shots, A has made 90 shots, a very obvious thing. Okay, and out of 90 shots that A hits, A kills once in 3, which means out of 90, he'll kill 1/3. 1/3 is basically 30 birds. Yeah, so you don't have to use any concrete area here. It's just a very miscellaneous thing. You can use common sense and get the answer. Clocks at what time between 9 and 10 will the hands be opposite to each other? You can straight away take the angle to be 180 and use that basic thing of 9 and 10 and go ahead. Blood relation, typical symbol based blood relation question. Again, a caselet for 4 questions. So definitely caselet is a doable thing. I mean, it's a Venn diagram caselet. Should do a caselet for sure. Again, a simple caselet, one liner caselet, one single set caselet. Alright, so these kind of questions you can skip them for later rounds. While doing the first round, keep in mind do the question that I'm showing you right now. Sangeeta remembers father's birthday was certainly after 8 but before 13. So which means Sangeeta assumes that it is either 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th as per Sangeeta. Sister says definitely after 9 but before 14. So as per her sister, it is 10, 11, 12 and 13. So you can see there are a lot of similar dates, which means there's data inadequate. Again, a direction sense, you can go ahead, trace it down and you'll find the answer. Conclusions. Statement conclusions are very simple when it comes to Snap. Best way to escape a problem is to solve it. Your life will be dull if you don't face a problem. Doesn't make sense because the premise says solution. Okay, to escape a problem you should always have some solutions. Cannot be the conclusion because the word always. Okay, keep in mind any conclusion, assumption or a course of action will never be explicit, will never have words like always, best and most. Alright, again a caselet for 3 questions. You can go ahead and try that. Again a conclusion based question. This is an assumption based question because conclusion want to be for the above to be logically correct. We need to find out the assumption. So let's look at it. So Wendy is a student, avid backgammon player. All students either play chess or checkers. Okay, so students play either chess or checkers, but some checkers player do not play chess because they don't understand chess strategy. So checker player don't understand chess strategy. Let's look at what they say about backgammon players. Backgammon players never play checkers because they don't find checkers challenging. So they are somebody who don't find checkers challenging. Therefore, Wendy must understand chess strategy. Now, this is based on a very simple thing that chess players understand chess strategy. Checkers players don't understand chess strategy. They find it too difficult. Backgammon players find checkers too simple. That's why they do not play checkers. So what is the assumption here? All chess players understand chess strategy? Can be. Backgammon is more challenging than checkers. That's a direct conclusion. Chess is more challenging than backgammon. That is again a direct conclusion, or rather not even true. All students who find backgammon challenging play checkers. Not really. Alright, it's a void statement. So definitely all chess players must understand chess strategy because they've spoken about chess strategy, concluding that he must understand chess strategy, which means backgammon players should understand chess strategy. So definitely chess players do understand chess strategy. That's a simple assumption here. So this can be a question like this as well. In fact, there can be a direct statement assumption. For example, in this case, India's economic growth has come to a terrible price of increased industrial and vehicular pollution. What is the premise? Economic growth, terrible price of increased pollution, both pollution, industrial and vehicular. Let's look at why are they saying so. Pollution is a part of the society. Yes, because it directly says industrial pollution as a term. Indian economic is only based on industrial growth. The word only negates it, eliminates it. Country desires economic growth, manageable side effects. Definitely, that's why they are allowing the pollution anyway, because they're saying comes at a terrible price, which means definitely a country desires economic growth. So the answer is 1 and 3 are implicit. Alright, something like 61st question where you have to find out the number of members in the family. Again, a typical one. Right, two out of 3 shirts need alteration in sleeves, 4 out of 5 needed in the body. How many for 60 shirts? So 2 out of 3. So for 60 shirts, 2 out of 3 will be, if 60 is 3, 2 will be 40. So 40 shirts need sleeve alteration. Sorry for this. 40 shirts need sleeve alteration. Plus 4 out of 5 need body alteration. So if 5 is 60, 4 is going to be 48. So total number of shirts that need alteration is going to be 88. A very simple one. Again, a miscellaneous logic. I told you miscellaneous is going to be the easiest of the lot in logical reasoning. Next, again, statement assumption. It comes to warning. Sorry for that. Smoking is injurious to health. A warning. Alright. Now, what is about a warning? Obviously, people take note of the warning, and that's precisely the answer. Only 2 is implicit. Again, a caselet, straightforward, and again a Q question, typical position question, an inference question, and that should be it. So around, I believe if you solve the miscellaneous questions well, you can easily solve around 8 to 10. You'll have miscellaneous, and you can probably take around 6 to 8 minutes for this. And verbal reasoning question, again we'll have 6 to 8 questions, and the remaining will be caselets, which you can take a little more time than usual and solve it, because if you solve caselets right, you'll get all correct, and if you make a silly mistake, you may get all incorrect. So it's like either 100% accuracy or maybe a 50 to 0% accuracy. That's precisely how you should deal with logical reasoning. And finally, coming to verbal of Snap is the easiest, because they have first synonyms, very basic words, and grammar, again very basic, and third is RCs are fact-based RCs, straightforward RCs. So let's look at it. So again, in the first round you focus on this, and the next round you can go for RC. You may do it the other way. This is one of my strategies. You may do it the other way. Okay. Now choose the antonym of native. Native is going to be foreign. Attenuate is to lessen something, so to expand something. What is the antonym for cajole? Cajole is to coax, or just to make somebody feel good about something. Definitely bully. Consanguinity, synonym you want. Consanguinity of same blood, so it's going to be kin. Spelling, you'll have spelling corrections. So first, demurrage is the correct spelling. You'll find out incorrect spelling. Pernicious should be the right spelling, and not pernicious. Alright, now look at the grammar thing. The long or short of it, it's never long or short, it's long and short. Okay, because it's like kith and kin. Okay. Anything that goes opposite is usually used and, because it kind of summarizes everything. Most of the Indian workers are as healthy as, if not healthier. No correction required, because keep in mind, as always follows an as. Okay, as the rule says, you'll always have an as with an as. Okay, you would blank surprised to get this letter, so doubtlessly be surprised, doubtlessly be somewhat surprised. Alright, things like that. Escaped your fingers, obviously slip through your fingers is more correct than escaping fingers. You don't escape fingers. Stand a ground, stand a chance is more appropriate here. Alright, visiting partner, half partner, sleeping partner, depends on what kind of partner you have. Some money in joint venture, but as I was busy, I could only be a sleeping partner. We must always blank of people who indulge in social activities. Steer clear of, or stay away from. Steer clear, because stay away will have a from. Okay, are you telling the truth or just spinning a yarn or spinning a tail? Spinning a tail. So you don't spin a yarn, because spinning a tail basically means kind of lying, or just like you bluffing around. There is blank amount of fatty acids in imported chocolates. It's obviously negligible amount and not negligent. Negligent is kind of avoiding something. Negligible is insignificant. Simple as that. I mean, basic words. You can notice, if you notice, like there are around 15 to 20 questions on the same lines, and then you have an RC, which is a fact-based, two RCs, and then finally you have some parajumbles, and that's about it. And something like this is very frequent in that. Analogy is based on various things. For example, in this case, they're talking about analogy is based on fear. Xenophobia is a fear of foreigners. They're talking about least similar. Keep in mind to read the instruction, especially they've underlined it. Least similar in the sense you have to find out which is not fitting the exact relation that the original is making. Xenophobia is foreigners. A fear of foreigners is xenophobia. Claustrophobia is not foreigners. Claustrophobia is closed spaces. Anglophobia is Englishmen. Bibliophobia is book, and hemophobia is blood. So the first one suits the best. So that's the answer. Sail is a ship. Ship has a sail. Satellite has a radar. Balloon has hydrogen. Car has accelerator. Propeller. Dog doesn't have a propeller. Obviously, dog is not something that will convert the energy forms from one to the other. All right. Dog belongs to canine. Cat belongs to feline. Cobra, serpentine. Fox is vulpine. So definitely parrot is aquatic. Parrot is aerial. So it's not aquatic. And then again you have spelling mistakes, punctuation, logical consistency. So you have to find out. It's kind of sentence correction, but put the other way around. In the sense, you'll have to find out which ones are the correct sentences. You'll have to take care of spelling mistakes and punctuation mistakes. I'll just solve the first one. 1847, a poor Bavarian immigrant. Spelling is incorrect. It should be double M. Landed in San Francisco, California. I don't think so there's a mistake here, so all good. At the invitation of brother-in-law, there's a comma missing here because when you address to somebody, you got to have a comma. David Stern, again a comma, because again the address is owner of dry goods business. This dry goods business would later become known as. Okay, so only B is correct, rest all are incorrect, so the answer is only B. So to pay attention to these kind of minute details, but definitely a doable thing. When I talk about GK will have to deal with awards. So in GK, you'll have awards, G8, G20, summits, all those SAARC. Talk about BRICS. Talk about national games, national winners this year. Talk about international winners this year. Talk about cities of the country. Talk about exports, GDP, highest FDI, and who's who, you can say. And you can talk about Oscars, Academy Awards, alright, and these kind of things. So basically JK is going to be very generic. A little bit of scientific GK, they'll ask you questions on science that you've learned in school and stuff like that. Keep in mind, GK, the target is around 4 to 5 questions, not more than that. Don't even try to attempt more than that. It's unnecessary to try to attempt GK that you are not really sure of and get it incorrect, okay, over leaving it. Yeah, so I believe that's it about Snap. Enjoy the paper, all the very best. Have a good time writing it. Thank you.